Hosted by a cock and frog. Shaka Talk. I hit the streets, been round that block. Shaka Talk. And jerk off in my dirty socks. Shaka Talk. My name is Dr. Rhea. Some people call me Faya. I've got something to say. Allow me just one prayer. Okay, I suffer from a mental block. Shaka Talk. Like, oh my God, and what the fuck? Shaka Talk. So turn it up and sit right back. Shaka Talk.
So you were talking about how paranoid you are about computers taking over the world?
Well, I'm not really paranoid about it.
Kidding.
I'm actually looking forward to it. I would love to have some iRobots running around doing everything for me. Like, yeah, go make food. Please go paint my gutters.
They could make your work, yeah? They could give birth to it.
Yeah, I mean, you saw iRobot. The guy was cooking the woman's dinner. I'm like, that's what I need. And hey, I can't go out and work. That's fine, because they wouldn't let people out of their houses because they were just trouble. I was like, yeah, people are trouble.
That's what iRobot? Oh, you think people are trouble? Like, what do you mean? What kind of trouble?
Like, did you see District 9? It just
That's not true, though. It's a movie, though.
I know, but it just shows that humans are just a bunch of assholes. And that's why machines come in handy. They don't get tired. They'll just do what they're supposed to do. And if they have to spank us for being bad, well, sometimes people need to be spanked.
Hanukkah, everybody. Hello, how's it? Welcome to Shaka Talk, very special edition, which you can probably tell by the fierce and seductive glamour that I'm serving up to you. I'm in Hollywood! Hello! And I'm with my friend, AJ.
Hi.
Hi. Do you have a last name, or is J your last name?
No, AJ Catalano.
Catalano?
Yeah.
Is that Italian?
It's Italian.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cute. Are you circumcised?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Not much love, but still. We don't even have microphones on, so we should talk loud.
Oh, we'll have to talk loud. Okay.
That's okay. Anyway, so when I was talking to my family member, who are you going to talk to? And I was like, my friend AJ. He's just like techie artist. How would you describe yourself?
I think I'm an artist designer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very much a designer.
that's a very good term. People say, oh, he makes robots. I'm like, I don't make robots. I do light sculpture with found items, and a lot of them have moving parts, which you'll see later.
Light sculpture with found items.
Yeah. I've been, like one piece is made with a baby's toilet training seat. This is watermelon. This is a piece I did in 1997, and it is made with a baby's toilet training seat. Is the frame, and I called it watermelon because of the color scheme, and it's 4 moire patterns.
Moire pattern?
Yes, it means 2 designs on top of each other. I looked up the description. I was going to close off the sides, but I left them open because it throws light a lot nicer on the walls.
I'm adding watermelon color to it right here on the camera. Okay, there you go. You're welcome. Just kidding.
Everybody loves this piece.
It's cute.
And, I'll use bubblegum balls on some pieces as well. So I've just been
found bubblegum?
Well, I'll pay a nickel for it.
Oh, not cheap.
No. Okay. No. Okay. And, I've just been making things since I was a kid, and then it just kind of developed into artwork later, as I discovered it was actually valid artwork from professionals.
Oh, so you were just doing it just because that's what you do, and you found out that it was kind of cool. And
because, I grew up being a sci-fi geek, and then I just started making things, and making little gadgets with lights and Christmas lights and medicine bottles, and blowing fuses in my mom's house, and then as I got older, I got better at it, and then I started taking it to sci-fi conventions, and then I had friends that were in art school, and they were like, oh, this is great sculpture. I'm like, I thought sculpture was just with clay. And they're like, no, sculpture is with anything. And then I started getting more involved in the art world. And now I do shows and exhibits. This is White Tower.
White Power?
Tower.
Tower.
It's found items. And, there's a lot of things you can do with a Slinky these days.
Found items. Okay.
Right.
Oh, that's right. That was a toilet seat. Oh.
Yeah. So, Slinky and some stick-ups and whatnot. This is another cute little piece. It's called Ultramarine. it's named that because that's the name of the paint color.
Okay.
And it uses a little old Walkman, which you can't even find anymore.
Oh, that's a Walkman?
Yeah, that's the guts of a Walkman. So I like this.
I like that too.
Cute little piece. This was just untitled. This was my last sculpture of 2007. And let's see, there.
How many do you do a year?
Not many lately because I'm working on other projects. I don't have time. But because they are very time consuming, there's a lot of detail and engineering that has to go into it, a lot of trial and error. I use pieces of things that were not meant to go together.
What's in there? What's that made of?
This is a piece to a pool filter.
Oh, okay.
And there's some old vintage TV tuning knobs here. Like this is an old volume controlled, and this is a tuner knob, and you know, just some parts that I find, and I make them fit together as best they can and work. So it's really time consuming. You can't just buy a kit.
But you started off in New Orleans.
Yes,
That's where you're from?
Yes, New Orleans.
Louisiana.
Louisiana, yes. There's only one.
Okay.
So,
And is there still one?
Yes, it's still there, fortunately. They made sure of that.
Have you been back since Katrina?
Katrina, yes. I actually went as soon as my hometown was reopened after Katrina, because they had apparently diverted water from the French Quarter and the affluent neighborhoods into the lower income, less affluent areas, which was my hometown.
I'm just checking to make sure this is good. But so all the water that was like getting all thrown around, they didn't want it like clogging up the rich people's place.
Yeah, it
and
was not official, but we heard that they dynamited the levees and strategic points in order to save the French Quarter, because without the French Quarter, New Orleans has nothing. That is their history, and that is their tourism. So they saved that, and they apparently did the same thing in 1964 from Hurricane Betsy. Yeah. So yeah, I had gone back right after, and I rescued what was left in my mom's house. My 21 big boxes of toys and collectibles, and as my sister's whole life was destroyed, mine were perfectly okay in the attic.
Were they all geeky packaged with like the plastic and
yeah, still in the cards.
The kind you couldn't even open and play with?
Right, yeah, autographed, yeah.
Big boys and they're wrapped toys.
Yeah.
I kind of like those.
If I want to open it, I have to get a second one, so not too many things were open.
And they're in mint condition.
Oh, fairly. I mean, from being in an attic for 10 years, yeah, they're pretty good.
Okay, wait, so when they let go of the water, it was sort of a preservational thing. It wasn't necessarily like a economic kind of thing or like fuck the poor people thing.
Whatever you want to think it was to save the French Quarter and the Garden District.
Okay, because I didn't even think anything about it really.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like it was just so cuckoo. I didn't like go into detail.
Yeah, and it's not.
So I wasn't implying. I was just asking.
No, it's just not public, divulgence from the Army Corps of Engineers, but it was done.
Oh. So, when did you leave New Orleans when did you move away?
I moved to LA October 1st of 2000.
Oh, pre-9/11. Okay.
Yes, right before that.
And so, what made you come here?
There was no life for geeks like me in New Orleans. It's like I wanted to be a professional geek, so it's like, where do you go? LA, of course, to the land where they make the movies and the science fiction.
So you're a professional geek now?
I'm working on it, yeah.
You make movies, right? Or work on them?
Yeah, I just got my first major motion picture working on Disney's Tron 2.
I was waiting to ask about that.
And I got to work with a costume shop that got the contract to do the helmets. So I was with the electrical group who we helped design and install the lighting in the helmets, which was pretty impressive for a movie nowadays that takes place in a computer world where everything in every movie is CG, and yet they spent the money to have people in actual suits and lighted helmets.
Like the original?
Yes, right. There will, of course, be a lot of CG in it, but,
I'm getting excited.
But they spent money on people to have helmets with lights, and so that was really, really cool. When the movie comes out, I'll be able to post pictures of me holding the helmet. We also have made Daft Punk helmets because they're in the movie.
Daft Punk is in
Yeah,
the...
Daft Punk is in the, of course.
Wow.
They're in Tron too, and I wanted so badly to put one of their helmets on, but my area finished, and they were like, okay, you're done, so I didn't get a chance. But I took pictures with all the rest of the helmets.
Did you meet the band? Daft Punk?
No, they didn't come by.
Okay. Did you know? Maybe they were in disguise.
Possibly, but yeah, if they were there, they didn't tell me.
Did you like the first Tron?
I did, but then you know what? Recently, I watched it with a friend. I was like, ooh, those effects are really bad. You know, it was like
I was bored by the
sparkle. It was bad. And then you know, everything in the movie was all like black lights with fluorescent tape that they had on their suits, which was hysterical.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they just had like fluorescent tape on their suits, and then they had black lights on them. And so that was funny. And then a lot of the green screen effects were just so crackly on the edges. I was like, wow, how did we think that was great? It was funny. But it's still fun. And the new one looks like it's going to be really neat.
So how did you get that from?
I got laid off from this design firm I worked for. And then another person who got laid off went to work for them. And he had been in my house and saw my artwork. And he's like, hey, AJ, you do all that work with lights and electronics. Do you want to come and help on this project? I'm like, what is it? He's like, Tron 2. I'm like, yes. So, you know, I went by and met with the owners and everyone. Yeah. So they liked me, and I went in, and you know, it was great, a really great experience. I loved it. Now I'm spoiled. I want more work in that field. So.
You think you might get to make another lightsaber one day? You made one, right?
Yeah, I made a lightsaber.
Did you make it, or you designed it?
No, I took blueprints of Luke's from. I took blueprints of the one that Luke had in Return of the Jedi, and I just drew it up and took it to machine shop, and they cut it out, and then I detailed it. So I've actually started doing digital illustrations as well.
Oh.
This series is called Lightheaded because actually these are lightsabers.
Yeah.
And in fact, the one I had made, it was made from the file that was made for it. So.
Cool.
That was actually a tribute piece I did to a fellow that got me into graphic design. He was a big Star Wars fan, so I made this series for him.
Right on.
But of course now you can go to Spencer Gifts and buy a really nice one for $100.
Oh.
So this was back in the day when they didn't have cool stuff.
Oh, you did it when it was cool. Just kidding. And so you grew up that kind of geek, like Star Wars, Star Trek, and all that. And comics too.
I did. Not so much comics, but yeah, I became a child of television. Being from a small town, 7 miles south of the French Quarter, it was really what you would say is a hick town.
Oh.
And it was really, really rough to grow up being gay at that time. And, you know, the neighborhood kids were really rough, and finally at one point I just gave up on hanging out with any of them. This is a piece called There Are No Fags. And this was done for a Matthew Shepard Memorial exhibit here in LA. And it was made specifically for the show. And it's just kind of describes the hatred that some people have for homosexuals and
Those are knife blades and
scissors.
Oh, scissors.
And firewood and tinder and fireplace matches. And it's because, well, if you go on my website, it's got the whole story, which is www.ajcatalano.com.
What was that again?
ajcatalano.com. TV became my best friend, my mentor, my confidant, my family member. You know, I could go to them and learn the lessons of life from, you know, Bewitched on how to equality. I learned about to be against racism from, you know, Brady Bunch. You know.
TV taught you that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Brady Bunch didn't teach you not racism. There was no black people on Brady Bunch, was there?
They had a neighbor, Ken Barry, and his wife. They were going to have a spin-off show, and they had 2 kids.
Brady Bunch?
Yeah, they were neighbors.
Oh my God, you're so I didn't know this. Go on.
And they had their own son, and then they adopted another son. So they adopted 2 kids. One was a black boy, and the other was an Asian boy. And they were worried about how the neighborhood would perceive them being a mixed family. And so the whole episode was to teach you how, you know, the Bradys, of course, were like, no, man, we love you anyway.
What season was this?
Oh, I don't know.
Like late, I never saw that. Are you sure it was a Brady Bunch? Not like Sparky Stone?
Yeah, it was Ken Barry, and so he was, it was supposed to be their own spin-off show, which never happened. So yeah, I learned that. And then there was the episode of Bewitched where Tabitha had her little black girlfriend.
Really?
And they
Very
wanted,
much from that.
and they wanted to be mixed, so Tabitha did a little digga digga digga, and then all of a sudden they were both polka dotted.
I remember that! Oh, wow!
So,
That was, okay. I didn't really like racism, but I
and
want
at
to
the
be
end,
anti-racist.
and at the end, Samantha said, "Honey, it doesn't matter what you are on the outside; it's what's on the inside that counts." She said, "Okay, mommy," and that was it. So I was like, "Oh, bewitched knows." You know, Samantha, you know,
Wow.
was my teacher. So,
Did you have a favorite Darren?
both of them kind of creeped me out. They were,
Oh, really?
They were both bitches, and I didn't like that very much.
That's true.
And I was like, come on, she can do anything. And you don't want her to do anything, get her to make your Batmobile, stupid. This is also a car I designed in 2004 when I was bored. When I worked at Toyota, I taught myself 3D on the computer, and so I just designed this whole car. And I actually got to prototype a model of that, which you can see.
Life size?
No, it's just about this big.
Oh, okay.
We'll see it in a few minutes.
Okay.
So this is the prototype of the car design that you saw previously,
Wow.
and it was really cool to get this made. So I'm all about
Toyota.
I'm all about getting the prototypes made.
You make a TV show too, yeah? Or what is a podcast? People don't like to do that with the show, but...
No. A podcast is just like a radio broadcast that
Okay.
we do from Shell Sculpting Studios in Van Nuys, and they do makeup effects and a lot of movie work. So it's shellstudio.com.
Shell.
SCHELL studio.com.
STACL Studio.
.com, and they have
They sell makeup and movies?
they have a lot of their work in their sketches that they've done, and they have a tab that says Nerdcast. And it's just a bunch of geeky guys sitting around talking about nerdy stuff. So if you want to go and check it out, look for my name, AJ Catalano, in the list, and then that's the one I'm on. They even had they have special guests. They had the guy who played the new Jason in the new Friday the 13th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is the younger Jason? Oh, no, that's not.
No,
Halloween.
the big guy, yeah. Well, they remade Halloween, and then they remade Friday the 13th as well. So this was the new Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. He's a huge guy, huge skinhead, muscle, and the biggest geek ever. He was so great. He's like, yeah, AJ, oh, what's going on? Yeah, he was great. He was there with his wife. And
what's his name?
Derek Mears.
Derek
Derek Mears. He's popped up in a few films playing a big hulky guy. And, yeah. But he's actually got alopecia, so he didn't actually shave his head. He told us that when he was younger, he was just a little Dungeons and Dragons playing geek, and then finally he decided, you know what, I want to make this my profession. So he started hitting the gym and got big and buff, and he's about 7 feet tall, and now he's doing movies and TV shows.
Oh.
So it's fun. So yeah, check out the Nerdcast. It's fun.
Okay.
You can find it on iTunes as well, but you can stream it directly from the site.
You made a music video, though, yeah? Or how many have you done?
I produced and directed a music video for Monsieur Vapland, and you can MySpace that or YouTube it.
Yeah, Monsieur Vapland.
Monsieur Vapland. And I've produced and directed it, and since funding has kind of bottomed out, we're still trying to get it edited, but I do have some great new interns now that are helping with the CG work. It's very sci-fi. I also have to make props. This is the dildo gun. This was used in a music video called Dildo in My Pocket by Radio Jizz.
It was a beautiful night. I was approached me and asked me, do you want to see? Then he showed me what he had, and I said, I want it real bad. There's a dildo in my pocket. Dildo in my pocket. I learned how to suck it. Dildo in my pocket. There's a dildo in my pocket. Learn how to suck it. Learn how to suck it. It was a beautiful night. I was feeling alright. Took a stroll down the street, trying to beat the heat. That's when a man approached me and asked me, do you want to see? Then he showed me what he had, and I said, I want it real bad. Suck it. There's a dildo in my pocket. Dildo in my pocket. I've learned how to suck it. Dildo in my pocket. There's a dildo in my pocket. Learn how to suck it.
Of course.
I need interns.
Yeah, interns rule. Really.
You gotta get
give them credit. Well, there could be a
That's the new ad, Agent Catalano.
It's the new E-Age. I haven't met any of them. I've looked at their work online, and I've emailed them the files to work on, and they email me back, proof shots and for me to approve, and I've never met one of them yet.
Wow. Are you sure they're not just stealing shit from you?
Well, steal away. I'd be tickled to death if somebody stole my work.
And started producing it for you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wow.
In fact, one of the other things I'm doing...
Agent Catalano semi-original.
One of the other things I'm doing right now is I just did some designs that I'm pitching for the next Star Trek feature film. And
really?
Yeah, I'll show you. I like being a big Star Trek geek. I really enjoyed the new film. It was like one of the best Trek films in a very long time. And I like how they kept the shirts like classic Trek and the ship pretty much like it. But I saw their phasers and communicators, and I'm like, well, I don't really like that so much. It's okay, but it's not, I just didn't care for it. So I was like, well, I'm going to just do my own designs and see if I can pitch it to someone.
So these are my designs for the new Star Trek film that I'm pitching. This is the new phaser that I'm proposing. It's a lot like the classic phaser, but updated. It's got all smooth lines and sweeping curves. And I'm actually working on making it work mechanically to where the muzzle retracts and extends with a motor. And I'm sending the file off to be prototyped as soon as I get all those mechanical details done, which should be.
And you can explain all the mechanical components too?
Yeah. Well, it'll all be built inside, and basically prototyping is a 3D printer where I just give them the computer file, and then this machine prints out the pieces in 3D in plastic, and I just put it
Oh, so it doesn't have to really work because it's not for real. It's from the future.
That mechanically this will retract and extend.
Okay.
And I'll have a light inside and a soundboard which will make sounds. And then this is the tricorder.
What's that?
They're a little handheld scanner that when they beam down to a planet and they want to search for alien life forms, they kind of push a button and they look around. Oh wait, there's an alien right up there. Let's go over there. So this is a new design that's very retro to the original.
Wow. New design that's retro to the original.
Right.
I like those words together.
Yeah. I hope that made sense.
Yeah.
So I did you can see that on my website, ajcatalano.com. And tell me what you think. It's under product design or props. And my phaser right now is about to be prototyped at my former model shop, this company I used to work at.
Really?
I'll show that to you. Yes, I'm working on getting that working mechanically. So, and I actually did get to send images of it to a production designer that worked on the film and is working on the next film. So, no word back, but please, everyone, give me a positive thought.
Do we pray? Is that bad?
That's good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just positive thoughts that something good will happen. And everyone asks, like, well, are you worried about someone, you know, should you copyright that? I'm like, what if somebody steals it? I'm like, I'd be ecstatic if someone stole my
Steal
design.
his stuff.
And I saw it up on a big screen. If I saw my design up on this big screen, I'd be like, wow, they stole that from me. You know, I say that now, but I'd probably be pretty upset
Bummed about the money.
whenever it happened.
You'd be hungry and
Well, you
girl.
can't look for money in this field. You really sort of have to just do it for the credit and the glory, what have you.
And there's my King Kamehameha,
Wow.
which I got from Hawaii when
Cool.
I visited you.
Right on.
Remember, we got it at Walmart.
Oh, we did, yeah. Walmart makes Hawaiian artifacts for white people to take and put in their house.
Right.
So, you think we're done?
I think so.
Because I'm going to run out of something. So, this might not be showing us, but hey everybody, right on. Thanks for watching Shaka Talk.
Mahalo.
This has been your hostess, D.R. Rhea. I'm my special Hollywood friend. He's such a star. AJ Catalano. And so, any last words?
That's it.
Before we
Mahalo.